let's take a walk. Come down the steps or the ramp of the church and make a right on Franklin Street. At the statue of Thomas Starr King, cross through the busy traffic light onto O'Farrell. You'll head down the hill, passing the dealership with the expensive electric cars. If you look closely, you'll pass a window with a homemade gallery of beckoning cat figurines, my personal favorite. Cross Polk, and you'll start to notice the streets growing more crowded, more alive. You'll pass a parking garage, a music hall, a park. Make a right on Hyde and follow the hill down, less steep now. You'll pass by apartments, a beauty salon, a laundromat, a coffee shop, several small markets, and people, lots of them. Continue 2.5 blocks. Then you'll see the purple building on your left, the home of the Faithful Fools. It's just a 12-minute walk from this congregation, 10 minutes even if you walk fast, which I did at first. If you have 15 minutes, you can take the time to notice, to breathe, to practice. 5 extra minutes, really. That's all it takes. At the beginning, I couldn't have told you exactly why I was so moved to make that walk each week. Only that I knew it was a powerful practice. Powerful personally, and I suspected more than that too. I think of practice in the sense that Stacey Haynes and Nigthi Maina do, that practice is always happening, whether it's intentional or not. How we breathe, how we move, how we think, how we encounter one another, each of these are practices, and each of them are constantly shaping who and how we are. Practice, they say, can open us up to new ways of being, or alternatively can calcify how we think, act, and feel. When approached intentionally, practice has the power to transform. In purposefully adopting a practice, there is a deliberate will to change oneself, or more accurately, to allow oneself to be changed. Like so many spiritual practices, walking up and down the hill has a history, a lineage of other practitioners. As I'd walk down the stairs of the church, I'd think often about all the people before me who'd traveled this path. I'd think about Kay Jorgensen at the beginning, about the many of you who I know have made this walk over the years. And mostly I liked thinking about all the people whose stories I didn't know. Lives integrated in and between this congregation and the Tenderloin. People traveling with questions like mine, and people traveling for different reasons entirely. In an uncertain and largely virtual year, joining in a time-honored and embodied practice was grounding and connecting for me. Each Friday afternoon when I'd shut my laptop and head down the hill, I'd find something a little bit different. Traveling the same path again and again makes visible the changes that pulse through any city block in the course of a day or a week. New art on the sidewalk, the slow evolution of construction, people's things gathered and relocated, cars moved, trash bins filled and then emptied. Different people each time. And also sometimes the same people who were, of course, different with each day. And so was I. Especially at first, when I had less of a relationship with the neighborhood, my own projections and fears loomed large. I walked with the identities that shape who I am and how I'm perceived bumping up against others, coloring my view and others' view of me. It's not a comfortable thing to notice this in myself, and definitely not comfortable to name here, but I know that it's part of the practice. It matters to name these things because when left unchecked, these stories support behaviors and policies that privilege some lives over others, that criminalize and abandon some people. Stories of separation create more separation. So walking with the fools, I learned to carry a mirror with me, to ask, where do I begin and end? And when judgment or fear rises up, to try to notice it and get curious about where it comes from. Those of you who have participated in a street retreat with the Faithful Fools will know of the mantra that came to Laura Friedman Emayoshi, who did a summer internship with the Fools in 2001. Words now offered to others walking the streets. What holds me separate? What keeps me separated? As I walk the streets, what still connects me? I carry this mantra with me, not just walking in the Tenderloin, but just about everywhere I find myself these days. It's an anchor, bringing me back again and again. And it's an invitation. First to notice, and then with time to release the assumptions that don't serve me or others or the world I want to co-create. The Fools talk about collective liberation, realizing the ways that our liberation is bound up together, connected by invisible threads. Because ultimately, these stories of separation and the real separations that they create, these hurt all of us. All that baggage I carried down the hill, especially at first, that baggage slowed me down and stooped me over, getting in the way of connection and the possibilities for it all around. When I was able to put some of it down, even for a moment, I was always surprised and delighted by the interactions that disrupted my assumptions, the deeply ordinary and extraordinary everyday moments, the deepening relationships made possible with time, the invitations into incredible lives of activists and clowns and artists and chefs and so much more, and the moments of resonance that with enough time together always seemed to emerge. The relationships built 1 hour at the time, giving new meaning, new recognition to the streets I'd been walking as they became a map of people as much as landmarks. We discover on the streets our common humanity, the Fool's mission statement concludes, through which celebration, community, and healing occur. And it did. And it does, and it can still. Over time, for me, the practice of walking up and down the hill kept widening beyond that walk, beyond those streets. I kept carrying Laura Friedman and Mayoshi's mantra with me, asking, what holds me separate? What keeps me separated? As I walk the streets, what still connects me? The practice of traveling down the hill from this church to the Fools has rippled out in unexpected ways, reminding me that there are structural realities, separations constructed over years that need to be acknowledged and repaired. There are habits of the heart and things that live in the body that build up walls and reify those separations. And there is a deeper truth below all of that. A common humanity. An intricate and interdependent web of life of which we are a part. Strung together with love, whether we know it or not. That with care and practice is always there to rediscover and reconnect with. It's been a great gift to practice in this way with you and the Fools, with all the neighbors I know and don't know yet. So however we practice, may we keep at it. That we shed every lie that lets us forget the strings that hold us together. May our remembering support our collective liberation. May it be so.